Leyonhjelm.
Thank you, Mr. President. According to popular legend, Hitler's master of propaganda, Joseph Goebbels, said, "A lie told once is still a lie, but a lie told 1,000 times becomes the truth." The claim that there have been no gun mass shootings since the introduction of John Howard's 1996 gun laws has probably been repeated many more than 1,000 times, which is perhaps why so many people believe it is the truth. But it was a lie when it was first told, and it's still a lie now. In the 20 years following 1996, there were 14 shootings in Australia involving multiple victims. Of these, 12 involved 2 or 3 fatalities, 1 involved 4 fatalities and 1 5 fatalities. The death toll would have been higher, but for some luck and life-saving medical attention. In the 20 years before 1996, there were also 12 shootings involving multiple victims, although there were more deaths in total. According to America's FBI, a mass shooting is defined as 4 or more people shot and or killed in a single event at the same general time and location, not including the shooter. In 2014, there was a mass shooting in New South Wales involving the Hunt family, in which there were 4 victims plus the shooter. This qualifies as a mass shooting under the FBI definition. Yet a couple of academics, Philip Alpers and Simon Chapman, who are in fact foundation members of the anti-gun lobby, recently wrote a paper in which they repeated the lie that there had been no mass shootings in Australia since 1996. But under their definition, a mass shooting required at least 6 victims, including the shooter. And they gained some publicity for themselves as a result of making this claim. But the simple fact is they arbitrarily changed the definition of a mass shooting to suit their agenda. Very few Australians will recognise the fabrication involved in the claim. Most of those claiming there have been no mass shootings since 1996 have never thought much about it. For them, it sounds sufficient to claim that massacres occurred before the gun laws but not after, and they then draw the simple conclusion that the gun laws made the difference. It might be simplistic, but it sounds compelling, and it's false. There were just as many multiple victim shootings in the 20 years before the 1996 gun laws as there have been in the 20 years after they were introduced. But really, is that all that matters? Is there something special about being murdered in a mass shooting, unlike being shot in some other way or even killed in some other way? Obviously not. A far better analysis of the impact of the 1996 gun laws would be to look at the overall level of murders attributable to firearms. And when you do look at that, what you find is that firearm deaths were declining in the 20 years before 1996, and they continued to fall after 1996 at precisely the same rate. Precisely the same rate, and multiple statistical tests have confirmed that it is precisely the same rate. And furthermore, this occurred despite a substantial increase in licensed firearm ownership. Many more guns, in other words. The simple fact is the gun laws in 1996 made no difference to the rate of decline. No difference at all. Now, this no massacres, no mass shootings claim is also often accompanied by a comparison with the United States. There's no denying the US does have mass shootings. Australia doesn't, or not many anyway, therefore it must be the gun laws that explain it, or so the argument goes. It's simple-minded claptrap. It's so dumb that it's amazing anyone falls for it, and yet you hear it all the time. And once again the facts are ignored, notwithstanding the high-profile mass shootings that do occur from time to time in the United States. The rate of gun deaths in that country during the last 3 decades has declined fast, quite fast, faster indeed than in Australia, albeit from a higher starting point. And at the same time, over the same period, gun laws in America have been substantially relaxed. In fact, in 42 states, over that 30 years, a person can now, without a criminal record or violent history, can carry a gun for self-defence. And in the other 8 states, a gun can be carried in case of special need. And of course, nobody bothers to compare us with countries such as New Zealand that continue to have gun laws resembling those that were found in Australia before 1996, but that, like us, continue to see falling gun deaths. Or Switzerland, which has a far higher ratio of guns to people than Australia, and yet its rate of gun violence is no greater than Australia. And the assumption is made, if we relaxed our gun laws to be more like those in New Zealand or Switzerland, we'd end up like America, not like New Zealand or Switzerland. It's an absurd assumption. I'm all for debate about gun laws, but let's stick to incontrovertible facts, not those that become facts because they have been repeated many times.